'Cause I'll be your friend, an ear I'll lend. I'll tell you time and time again it's true.
Have you ever watched your child wrestle with worries at bedtime and wished you had the right words to help? Welcome to Chats with the Worry Wizard. We're creating our own cosy, comfy corner of the world where we explore worries, well-being, and everything in between. I'm Amy, I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist, and once upon a time, a very special boy named Jack called me the Worry Wizard. And the name has stuck in the nicest way possible, and so has the magic of wondering together. So, wherever you and your child are right now, whatever you're experiencing today, there is space for you here. I'd love you to join us, not to chase perfect answers or to decide what's right or what's wrong. Instead, I'd love us to make space to wonder together and sit comfortably with the questions, because often it's in the wondering where the real magic happens. And I'm delighted today to introduce you to Denise. This is just the beginning of our journey together. But Denise, who's a family therapist, is here to join me in the wondering. So Denise, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's the first time for me doing this sort of thing, but I'm really excited and curious to see where it all takes us, this conversation we're having today. And yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for agreeing to come. It's a first for me as well, and this episode's going to be called "Stepping into Uncomfortable Spaces." And I think one of the things that you and I have shared together is actually this doesn't feel particularly comfortable for either of us. Um, I
Being
wonder
brave.
if you could,
We've
being brave.
Being brave, yeah, I think it's a good start. And if I think being brave and courage is sort of part of our work, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that that's one of the things that's quite interesting in terms of courage is it isn't the absence of fear. It's keeping trying even when you feel afraid. So I'm conscious people listening to this might be worrying about their child's well-being, and actually listening to something about that might in itself be requiring courage, because it might be quite an uncomfortable or a brand new thing that they've never done before.
Yeah, I think just sort of, I think settling into that sort of um, accepting, yeah, my child's worried about something, I'm feeling worried about it. Who and what can we talk to? And I think, um, I think hopefully our conversation today will help that.
It's interesting though that what you said, that settling in, that feels like
Mm,
quite a physical thing, like a noticing
mm,
in some way of how you feel
mhm,
and how your child might be feeling.
mm,
And I think one of the things in our conversations that you do a lot for me and take me back into is what's going on in the body,
mm.
and what messages does that give to you?
Yeah. Yes, I've noticed something about myself is when I'm waiting for a family to arrive or a client to arrive, um, I have these little rituals that I do to settle myself. So I have an oil burner and I put certain oils in it that I like. And I make sure that I've got some time where I can just sit and breathe. So I use a lot of my breath to settle my body, especially if it's a new family coming or a new person coming. And I think I use that in all sorts of ways right through my life. When I recognise in my body is like, oh, I'm feeling a bit tense, or I know that my breath is a little bit short. Um, and yeah, sometimes even do things like listening to a certain. I've got these lovely little um, bells in my room as well, and I just put that on, and I think it is that settling, because I know if I'm settled, that helps whoever else who is coming into my space to settle too. And I think people sort of know, they get a sense that you're ready for them, and it's calm. I feel calm.
It's lovely, though. I suppose what I'm hearing in you, that something that's coming up for me is about pace. There's something about what you're doing is you're really stepping into your noticing of things feel like they speed up when you feel uncomfortable. When we started this conversation, things felt faster for me. And now I can feel myself kind of settling into the chair and settling into myself. But I'm conscious a lot of people listening to this probably haven't even really got space or time to listen to the whole thing. They'll be looking for what are the things I can take from this. And that invitation to try to find time to offer yourself this at a pace that works for you. It can be challenging, can't it?
Yes, and I think, what I think what I notice about when we're stressed is how or when we've just got through something, we often exhale, don't we? We often go, "Whew, that was really hard." So I know biologically sort of what that does. So I just do that intentionally, and it's kind of like it's magic, really. How it does sort of that big exhale that you do to the edge of your breath, and it's something that I did a little bit. I have to say, coming here today,
Yes.
finding the building and
Yeah.
walking in and just doing that thing, and sort of like resetting myself, I think.
So, but you consciously choose to do that. So you notice when you might need it, and then it's one of your tools that you use.
One of my
Okay.
tools.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about at the very beginning of this is you and I have met together many times in a therapeutic space, and there have been lots of moments when you have helped me hold courage when I've been feeling unsure or afraid. And you've also helped me hold hope when I've been unsure that there was going to be an outcome that I was seeking. And we're right at the beginning of sitting with people and them bringing their worries about their children to this space. And I suppose I've never asked you before, but how do you hold hope and courage for others? Could you say a little bit about that?
Oh, wow. I think that is something I've really learnt over the years, is to have faith in people, to have faith in the knowledge that I've worked with people where they've been in the deepest distress. Terrible things have happened in their life. But the human spirit to survive is huge. And I think that's what gives me hope, is that knowledge and that experience of seeing that over the years I've worked in this area, and helping people remember who they are. I think sometimes when we're going through things, we lose a sense of who we are. We lose a sense of our own courage and power, and the ability to think, the ability to draw on what's gone before in their life. And when we reach back, we think we can generally find something where, actually, yeah, I did walk into school for the first time. I was on my own, or I did go for an interview, or I did deal with losing somebody special. And looking at that, well, how did you do that? And I suppose over time of knowing you, I've seen you have courage to do the work that you do, and to believe in the ideas and the values that you have.
I think it's such a lovely thing, isn't it? Like sometimes you'll meet someone and you'll share what you do in your work, and they'll be like, "Gosh, how do you have all the answers for people?" And it's like, "Gosh, I have no answers." But I do have a huge belief in the capacity of the human spirit, and particularly beautifully children. Children can come to a counselling room with something that feels really stuck and can't be unstuck, and they've just got such capacity and imagination to explore it and find a way through. So it's special, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think the very important lesson for me over the years, because I started my life as a nurse, working in an acute setting, and had a big list of things in my pocket that needed to be done. And that could be big things or a small thing like getting ice for somebody because their mouth was quite dry, but they weren't allowed water. And then at the end of the day, I'd be thinking, right, have I done everything, sort of thing? Or maybe I haven't quite done the bits that were less important, but still important. And then when I moved on to working more in a sort of softer, less acute place, I had to learn to be. And I remember the matron saying, it's okay just to not have that big list. You're still actually doing by being.
Amazing.
And that was a really big thing of just being alongside. And I think I was probably sort of late 20s then. And I think that was something I practiced. And that at the end of the day, I would know that actually just having that conversation with a patient or a relative was just as important as giving them their medicine and all the doing things and the bandaging or that sort of thing. And I think I hold on to that when sometimes I think as therapists we think, are we being useful? Is this helpful? And I hold on to that. Yeah, but remember, actually being alongside somebody is worth it.
That's lovely. And I mean, I know we're going to talk about that a lot more because that's really challenging to know that being is enough. Really challenging. And I can imagine listening to this and thinking, that doesn't feel enough. I really need you to give me something concrete. But so, yeah, I think what you've just said, it feels like something to try and allow space for.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denise. I just wanted to say, wherever you and your child are today, there is space here for you. And I want to name something that's important for both Denise and I, is that we are not sitting in the room with people listening to this. And if we were, we would be holding the belief that you know your child best. You're the one who notices, holds, and hears them. And that matters deeply. And these conversations between Denise and I, they are just here to offer gentle reflections, but they can never replace your understanding of your child or the support of trusted professionals if worries are really affecting their daily life. And if that's the case, then we would think about reaching out to your GP or a counsellor or a professional, because they can be the next best step. I wanted to share with you, Denise, I don't know whether we've spoken about Elizabeth Gilbert and her writing about fear, but it's something that I just think beautifully encapsulates an idea that you can use with your child. We're talking about stepping into uncomfortable spaces. We talked about courage, and partner in that can be fear. And she talks about the idea that her big dream was to live a life without fear. That's what she thought that she was trying to get to, and striving and feeling like, well, I'm not really getting there. But she came to notice that at the most significant, exciting parts of her life, fear had been there. And she started to think, oh gosh, there's obviously a correlation here between fear and me doing interesting, creative, exciting things. And so she got to a point where she sat fear down in a chair and she said, right, fear, you can come in the car, but you're in the back seat. You don't get to choose the snacks. You don't play the music, and you also don't get to read the map. I'm steering. And I just thought that that's a lovely way and quite a fun conversation to be both playful, but to talk about something important with a child about fear.
Yeah, because obviously fear is a natural part of living. We all experience it. And I think getting to know it really, really helps us manage it, doesn't it? And getting to know how it feels in our bodies, how it might make our minds or our heads feel a bit fuzzy and our mouths might be a bit dry, knowing where it is in our body. But I think then the next step then is just sort of maybe not being afraid of the fear, because that's sort of like a double whammy, isn't it? Being afraid of the fear and maybe asking it what it wants. That I suppose it gets us ready for things, and I suppose in a way it could be a friendly fear, couldn't it? Because that's maybe warning us about something. I suppose there's times when it tips over to being a fear that is more difficult to manage, and maybe that's maybe that's when we need to talk it through with somebody. Maybe get some advice or guidance from our loved ones or people that know us the best.
I suppose that's interesting. You're drawing a distinction, aren't you? I suppose she was talking about fear that comes along for what has become exciting or creative moments, and you're saying that fear can be around for different reasons as well. And as the adult in that, trying to work out what is what, which is hard when you're experiencing your child feeling really big feelings. That can be hard for the adult, can't it? I wanted to ask, we're going to try and offer something that you could take away from this episode. And as you were talking about fear, I kind of felt like I might like to place fear there. You talked about get into relationship with, what, come on, fear, what you're trying to say. No, don't nudge onto my seat, keep your own space. And how with your own child, you could maybe get a little bit playful about that this week. Would you be able to get into that image about fear that Elizabeth Gilbert shared and talk with your child about the fact that what would it be like to imagine fear on the back seat of the car, and to be very clear that fear does not get to choose the music or the snacks. And one of the things that we'll probably get into is how playfulness can be a great companion to uncomfortable feelings. So, for example, this might maybe have to give you a yuck alert, but talk about what would fear actually like to eat. Maybe stinky cheese or maybe soggy lettuce sandwiches, and all of a sudden you and your child are starting to interact with fear in a different way. Sometimes if you can get playful, it opens the door to laughter, and worries can feel a little smaller. So our wondering together about courage and discomfort is exactly what we're going to explore more about in our other 2 Worry Wizard podcasts. Worry Wizard Wonderings is for you and your child to listen to at bedtime, and Wondering Together is just for parents so that you feel ready to hold what might come up when you sit with your child and listen to Worry Wizard Wonderings. Denise, thank you. Thank you for being brave enough to sit with me in the uncomfortable today. And to our listeners, I just hope that you know that uncomfortable feelings are very welcome here. So I'm sending you wellbeing wishes from me, Amy, the Worry Wizard.
When you're feeling scared like nobody cares, I hope that you know that I will always be there for you. I'm here for you. And tell me what you're thinking, 'cause I want to know. When your heart is sinking, I'll be there to show with proof. I'm here for you. 'Cause I'll be your friend, an ear I'll lend. I'll tell you time and time again, it's true.